Hey, what's up, y'all? Good morning. And we're going to break down another movie today, Decodaholic. If you're a decoding person, you should nerd out on this. If this is too much for you, just turn the channel and go about your happy little lives and don't listen to this stuff, because if you listen to it, it's going to have consequences, all right? So, right? And you hear that in the John Wick series, they're always saying consequences. And then the other person will say consequences, you know? So Bedazzled is a movie about the devil. And I want you to think of my dreams I had about Taylor Swift, and the person I saw on the stage was 666. And I want you to think of this woman. I went and posted a picture online. I put the two next to each other because I was just blown away by this movie, and I was like tripping out. And so pretty much Elizabeth Hurley, you know, back in the day, this is in the year 2000. So Truman Show came out in 1999. This one came out in 2000. This is when they were really in the Truman Show peak of product placement and all this other stuff. I'm blown away by the little facts they know about people before they happen. I had to pause in this movie like twice because of rage problems and go for a drive and stuff. So it's very difficult. Like I said, your emotions can get the best of you. So this is a road that can unlock Pandora's box. So, you know what I'm saying? That's why I say if you don't like this, don't listen to this channel. Get off while you can. Because if you're a blue pill, you're going to hate me. I'm a red pill. I love the truth. I'm going in the rabbit hole. If you're a blue pill person, you should not even be listening to this. You should just be reporting me to your local authorities and your stupid agents like you always do. Okay? So, let's continue. So you have Elizabeth Hurley. So you have this guy who's a pushover, right? And what's funny about this is it correlates with future movies. Arnold goes in a bar, he fights 3 guys, right? In Terminator 2. And then in Terminator 3, he goes in a bar and he fights this gay guy on the stage, right? He goes up on stage and there's this gay dude stripping and all the ladies are watching him. All the ladies are watching this gay guy. You know, you think it'd be the opposite. And Terminator goes up and just says, "Give me your clothes." Right? Strip your armor down. And, you know, so he only fights this gay person, which is probably a transgender or some shit. And so, and then you have the Bedazzled. He has 3 friends. One of them's name is Danny, right? Blink 182, 3 guys. And you have Danny is this dude who's supposedly Brandon Fraser's friend, right? But there's a 3-pack. And then in John Wick, you have the famous story of the bar where he killed 3 people with a fucking pencil. You know, the Russian guy saying that. So look at how all these things build up. See, it's all for a reason. So one thing I noticed is it's that, you know, he had 3 friends. And so that was kind of crazy. And he's a pushover. You know, everyone makes fun of him. He wants to be part of the cool kid. He's a doormat. He's too nice, too whatever. And he's just not cool. And so they walk all over him. They always, you know, make fun of him and stuff. And this girl he wants, Allison, right? Taylor's middle name is Allison. Taylor Allison Swift, right? And he's obsessed with this girl, Allison, right? So, and the devil loves to make movies about himself. Like, you can already see it's happening. And he even makes movies about people who don't even want their calling, right? Which are probably more important than him, you know? So, because it's weird. Because when you look at Revelation 13, remember, the dragon gives away all his authority and throne to somebody. The dragon is the ultimate power horse of the, you know, devil's hierarchy. And in the book, it says that the dragon gives it away. He gives it away to somebody, and it's to a beast, right? He gives his power and dominion and throne away. He pretty much says, "Here, you can have it." Right? And then I don't know what happens. Goes and hides or something? I don't know. So when you look at this, it's funny because the devil is a beautiful woman. And then she goes up to, let's just continue. We'll get it. So this is a movie where the devil gives Brandon Fraser 7 wishes and a big old contract. All he has to do is sign it with the pen. And you look at the cover of this movie, it shows Brandon Fraser with the devil behind him, and he has a pen, and she wants him to sign something, right? So you see this, and the intro to this movie is so significant. You guys remember when I always said technology is 20 to 30 years ahead of us? So the intro to this movie, just like a book, the first line is important. it's going around the world, and it's like all of a sudden it'll pause the frame with a bunch of people, and it'll a yellow arrow will come off of somebody. Like, for example, there was a priest preaching at a thing, and it said he cheats on his taxes. And then it would say to a woman, cheats on her husband. And this one, it would say, doesn't tip waitresses. And it was pointing these people out, and it knew their hidden secret. And this was in the year 2000, right? So you start to wonder and know now how Hollywood and all these people are able to build so architecturally or whatever. They build with so much spice and so much like predictive programming to where you're just like, what is going on, dude? And so if you watch the intro of that, it's a measuring system. They're already capable of knowing your stuff, dude. And they're these movie stars are getting rich off of us. You know, it's what they do, man. So I thought that was crazy. And I always correlate with the Bible because that's what it does. So let's see here. Oh yeah, and they went to the cities. And they started going over to cities, so it went to San Francisco, and it said only 30% converted. And it was given conversion rates of how many good there were. I don't know if it was talking about like people who were Christians or people who were converted to the devil, but in San Francisco, I think it's probably 80% lost and maybe 20% found. But they were putting these things in the intro, like 30% converted, 20% converted of a whole city, dude. And this was in the year 2000, right? So in chapter 11, you know this in the Bible, where the two witnesses will measure the temples of man. And this is obviously meaning our bodily temple, telling us, you know, it's pretty much to measure your sin and your action and to see if you turn away from sin. That's what it's all about. So he tries to be buddies with the clique, and he was rejected. Danny and his friends play him, though. Like, his friends are kind of his friends, but they end up playing him more often than not. And this kind of irritated me, because I've had a dream too where I've had a conflict with these three, and it didn't end well for them, you know, ended in, you know, death. And so like a lot of this stuff, it trips me out because you're starting to get angry about stuff that is in the future. Like, here we are, Bob or Mr. Dyson Terminator, right? So I'm being judged and pressed by things I haven't even done yet. I think a lot of the main players in these days now, because of technology, are going to have a struggle because they're going to be looking down a road and they're going to know things that the future is saying they're going to do. And at the moment they're going, what? I wouldn't do that, right? And that's what's so crazy about the future, man. It's like some red pill rabbit hole stuff. So like I said, turn the channel if you're blue pill. Get the hell out of here because you're not going to like it. I love this stuff. It's fun. I'm like a nerd when I do this. So it's great, right? So you have, let's see here. Oh, and the woman that plays the devil in this movie, she has a snake around her, right? And she reminds me of that magazine where Kim is on there. And it's like this seductive one, and Kim has her hair like that lady who drops her hair on the Disney movie, and that guy climbs up to her tower. That's Jezebel, right? So that movie is Jezebel making a movie about herself. When the woman is letting hair down and a guy's like, I need you, let me climb up to your tower, right? That is pretty much a woman saying, that's right, you my slave. But they sugarcoat it in a pretty little Disney way, right? And then this teaches your youngsters to be in towers like Jezebel, but you don't want to be in the window like Jezebel. I'm telling you, you do not want that spot. Okay, read the Bible. Anyways, I'm just breaking it down, you know. They run their game, it's what they do, but I'm just filling in the gaps here of knowledge. So it reminds me of the episode where Kim had a snake around her and the thing, and it was like this Allure magazine, and you know, so I mean, she's big on that kind of stuff. So, and what's funny is whenever they started talking about Allison, this one that Elliot never got, because she was like, she was pretty much a whoremonger. She wasn't right for Elliot anyways, dude. If he would have got with this girl, she would have probably hurt his heart, right? He wants a corny girl who's like fruity, corny, and you know, that's kind of what Elliot needs. Allison, you know, I'm glad, but in the beginning they say, doesn't she want that Brian guy or Brad with a T? See what I'm saying? When they say with a T and then they emphasized again, yeah, she does want that Brian guy with a T. See what I'm saying? With a T, right? So now you can connect the dots on what this means. You know, obviously a boyfriend is probably the dude who's like, you know, I'm just going to be real, the one who can get in women's heads and steal women, right? That's what they meant by that. So the company they all work for too was called Synergy, right? Synergy is a huge, huge player in the last games, dude. Kind of like Umbrella Corporation in the movie Resident Evil. So it's kind of like the Umbrella Corporation. That's what Synergy kind of is, right? You got to think of it on that level. So Taylor Allison Swift, Taz, right? So I thought this was funny. The name Allison and then Taylor, right? And just look at what the Big Six is beefing her up right now. They're straight following her and Kelsey like they are a king and queen, dude. And that's some crazy shit. And so the first week of June is when it was really wet out, right? Like whenever he talked to Allison for the first time, they were at a bar. You know, they were at a bar, of course. And he's at the bar with her. And he's like, you know, these puzzle pieces, even as I'm talking, puzzle pieces start coming together in my brain. So like, you know, and he says, we met before, remember it was really wet out? I said it was really wet outside, like it was raining, right? It resembles rain, you know? And so, oh yeah. And then right there, she walks away and Elliot says, dear God, if you can give me Allison, I'll do anything. See, at that moment, I realize is when the devil shows up. Because when I prayed to God, when I was in right here, Decatur, Illinois, I said, I was talking to 28 different women, you know, 10 from Africa, 5 from the Philippines, you know, and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, and then I just was sick of it. And I said, God, can you show me what her face looks like? Because then I won't have to search anymore. I can just know I can see her face. And right there, I think the devil was listening and also heard what I said, right? And so I went down this whole rabbit hole search, dude. And so all of a sudden he says that, and then she's at the pool table, right? This is important. See, a pool table, the main ball is the 8 ball. See, when you play the game of pool, right, and think of a swimming pool, all the dreams that are going on, and think of the game, right, the game 8 ball. Like to win or lose the game is you got to make the 8 ball, you got to call your corner pocket, right, or you got to call the pocket, and it's the 8 ball, right? So, and then how do you break all the balls apart? The cue ball, right? So the cue ball starts the game. The 8 ball finishes the game. Let me say it again. The cue ball starts the game, and it's like your mechanism, right? And then the 8 ball ends the game. Starts your tool, and then the 8 ball, right, is the finisher. It's a closer. So are you guys catching on to this? All right, so all right, so where are we at right here? So she hits the cue ball, the devil. Bam! She hits the cue ball and it flies off the table, the white ball, and it rolls all the way over to Elliot. And then he's like, so that's significant too. The cue ball, QAnon program, you know, everyone right now is like, this QAnon thing, that's all fluff. They've been building this Q system ever since Miss Q was born, dude, right? She's the Q. Q stands for QAnon, Queen, whatever, however you want to think of it, right? So you have the pool table, and it was at his feet. The ball rolled at his feet. The cue ball was at his feet. That's symbolic too, right? And the bedazzled woman, she looks just like Taylor Swift, bro. I'll show you a picture. Look, check this out. Bam. There they are. That is a recent photo of Taylor and then that woman. They're almost fucking twins. You see this? Tell me Hollywood ain't crazy, dude. Or, you know, they really are good at what they do. So there's that. And so the game ending, Paul, is 8 ball. I saw that the pool. So the devil's sitting on Elliot's lap, right? So she jumps on his lap. And check this out. All of a sudden, she's making out with him in front of these people. And all of a sudden they start laughing, excuse us, and then the devil says these damn words that blew my horizon. There's a crowd watching, and she says to them, ladies, can you give us 2 seconds? Yeah, Can you give us 2 seconds, girls? Right? So Rosa, the girl I met, would always say that. Give me 2 seconds. Right? But I've also learned that all these same people share the same dialogue as the... Hang on, excuse me. This is Joshua. Robocall. Probably them, the devil, listening right now. I'll get these calls. Hello. Hello. And then they'll hang up. It's a devil. They're pissed off because, like, this is my time to shine. And they're like, oh my gosh, I hate life. So, you know, she says, give me... It was probably her. You know, I had a dream about her last night. So probably who it is. You know, so she says, give me 2 seconds, right? And then all her pawns say, give me 2 seconds. Like right now on Facebook dating, like you look at one of the fan things of Kim, she's on the beach going. So a lot of women on Facebook dating right now have their tongue out and they're doing the flip off thing, right? That's because these people are trained damn beast soldiers already. They're marked, dude, with the blasphemous name on their forehead. And they're just following their leader. Unfortunately, you know, and that's what's going on. But I thought that was funny when it says, give me 2 seconds. She's a lady in the red dress, and she said she had cataclysmic power. And so I paused it right there. And then cataclysmic power means relating to or denoting a violent natural event like an earthquake. So when she says she has cataclysmic power, that's saying earthquake. And you guys remember I had a dream of the helicopter. I climbed off the scaffold and an earthquake happened, right? You saw the ground shake, everything. So that's what this is meant by the cataclysmic thing. And then he's all, who are you? And she went from her seductive loud voice and she got right in his ear and said, I am the devil, right? And then he's like, what? Well, actually he's just like, you're stupid. And then she gave him a card, right? The business card's important, right? I've had 2 people give me a card. 3, you know, the tattoo guy on my heart. And it said on the thing, the devil, right? And the heart, just like the heart ink thing, me with the card, the agent of Satan, 666. It's like I'm a twin of Elliot. You know, that's why I had to take a drive, because I got very emotional with this shit, you know, and get mad, you know, starting to get mad. So, confident to go out on a limb here that the devilish creation of Hollywood has a wardrobe. Because when you look at Elizabeth Hurley, it's not what she wanted to wear, it's what the producer wanted to wear, right? And there's this spirit that I think jumps in these producers. Because you don't see anymore the specific individualism of a person. You're starting to see the pattern of a spirit in these movies. And what I mean is, I literally think that Jezebel and the spirits of Satan jump in and out of these producers while they're making these movies. Because you don't see their character. You see the spiritual realm, dude. Because I noticed in this movie, she had a bright leather jumpsuit on. Like this leather suit. And then when you look at the TX in Terminator 3, she had the same exact leather material on that the devil did in Bedazzled, but this one was a maroon color, but it was almost equivalent, dude. And the devil was sitting on a sports car when they came out of the bar. TX stole the Lexus from that other rich girl and her clothes, and she was in the sports car. Both of them were convertible. See what I'm saying? You're starting to pick up a spirit, dude, that's jumping in these people. And I believe it's Jezebel and hierarchy demons, dude, like Lucifer, and they jump in these people and they hijack their brain, and they're like, and then they just take over and say, you're gonna put me in this outfit. And that's what goes on, dude. And not on all of them, because some of them are good people, and some people fight it. Some people fight that spirit. They don't like it, and they try their best to fight it. Like I will say that too, right? So I thought that was kind of crazy, dude. So they both had the fancy car and all that stuff. So Oh yeah, and then when she's looking to Elliot, she says his words to him. She says, I know every little dog thought that goes off in your brain. So when you look at Celestial, and she mentioned that prophecy about me and Timothy, remember the vortex? And she said the woman that was like sucking our thoughts from our brain? Look at this woman. She tells Elliot, I know every little dog thought you have in your brain. Right? And this is in the year 2000. So that goes off, and she said your small little brain. And look at Obama. What did he say? Oh man, see, I'm starting to get mad. So like Obama says, you're too small-minded to govern your own affairs. So you must surrender your sovereignty to an all-power sovereign. Who the fuck was he talking about? Now we know. See, are you connecting the dots, red pill crowd, or are you still blue? Right? See, and I just connected that. I didn't even catch that. See, every time you jump into this hole, it gets deeper and deeper, dude. There is no end to it, right? So you have, yeah, that goes off in your small little mind, dude. Of course, right? Obama. So while she's explaining these things to him, there's a billboard in the background too with a seductive woman, and she's like looks like a mermaid. And the background says, I'm in your dreams. The background of that thing says, I'm in your dreams. Right? And she's taking a bite of an apple. See what I'm saying? So, his first wish, too. She's like, wish for something. And then Elliot's like, okay, I wish I had a Big Mac and a Coke from McDonald's. So they hop in a bus and they go all the way over there, and she's like, okay, I'll take a Big Mac and a Coke. Fries? No. Then she's all, do you got any money? I left my purse in the underworld. So then he ends up paying for the McDonald's, right? And it's funny, the first thing he does is go to the M house, the McDonald's, right? MSDS, M is no longer there. It's just the SDS, right? So in the beginning intro, that was I already mentioned that. Oh, the club they go to also, check this out, man. And the devil's obsessed with Elliot. It's like the devil wants to like be with Elliot, but also like Elliot work for the devil or something. Because it's weird. Because the name of the club they go to is called DV8, which means devil 8. So devil and then the number 8, right? So now you can go back to the 8 ball of the pool table. Cue ball, 8 ball, club, devil 8, DV8. Right? And then when he goes in this club, everybody knows him. Elliot, what's up, dog? What's going on, bro? You know what I'm saying, dude? So people go from being mean to being nice, right? They're like, all of a sudden, dogs were biting him. Now they're at his feet, kind of, right? Remember the cue ball at Elliot's feet, right? This is all symbolism, man. So, and then the devil's office, she had a picture in the background of Adam and Eve, and then the devil inside the tree in the devil's office, and the fruit was hanging on the branch. And at that point, she did something. She turned into a man, because Elliot's like, I didn't know the devil was so hot, you know? And then she's like, well, this is my real look. And she turned into a man. She went from the hot Elizabeth Hurley to a damn devil man, right? So that was crazy. See? That's crazy. So it shows both sexes going on. Maybe the male, the female gene or something. Maybe there's two people who have that. I don't know. You know, I'm just here to, you know, I'm just starting off on this nerd stuff too. So she turns into the man, and the contract says damned, and she says, how about the dawned? You know, because she's like, well, this says damned. And then she's like, well, here, we'll switch it. How about we call it the dawned contract? So she was calling Elliot the dawning of something, you know? And the only thing dawn, it refers to Lucifer too. It could have been the devil beefing his own self up right there in front of Elliot, or it could have been a symbolism towards Elliot. I don't know, right? So background here. Oh yeah, and then so 7 wishes. And what I've noticed too is this is affecting my life right now. A lot of companies are changing their curriculum to 7 questions, right? I've went to a couple interviews that have already switched it to 7 questions, right? And you guys are following me, so you see this too. They have switched it up because the devil is doing this shit, right? So the devil knew I would watch these movies because I'm going to tell you something. When we get down here, they knew specific events that happened this year in my life when I was at a damn beach. They knew birds, man. And this was in 2020. See what I'm saying? So the devil knew I'd watch these movies, you know, and the woman on the beach, she uses against him, right? She says, sign it, sign it. So all of a sudden when he's like second guessing it on the screen, it turns into Allison. And all of a sudden she's talking to Elliot. And she's like, sign it, Elliot. Come find me. I need you. Sign it, sign it, sign it. All you hear is sign it, sign it, sign it, sign it, sign it. And then, you know, the love of his life he wants so bad is up on a screen telling him to sign something. And then what do you think he does? He signs it, dude. And she says, I'm waiting for you. Sign it, right? And so that's crazy. And so his first wish he wants to be powerful and rich. And so he becomes a drug lord of the cartel. He's a cocaine dealer, right? Huge word there. Cocaine, Coca-Cola. Very main player in these last days symbolism, right? So Raul stole Elliot's old lady. So in these dreams, a man always steals Elliot, or always steals Allison, right? So you have Travis and this, and they're blurting it up. You know, the whole Timmy, my brother stuff, you know, which I don't really care because anybody you can steal from me wasn't mine anyways, right? Think of it like that. If a man can steal your old lady, it's because she was never really your old lady. Because if you're a real, genuine person, no motherfucker will be able to steal her from you. Because she'll say no. She'll look at him and go, F you. I'll pray for you. You ain't stealing me. You know, and they'll straight up be like that. You know, if they're your real woman, right? So, you know, so Raul steals his girlfriend and humiliates him because his 3 friends know about it, but they're not telling him, right? Or they did tell him, right? And, you know, so they tell him about it and they're like, yeah, he's been tapping your old lady. And then they show him pictures. His 3 friends show him pictures of what was going on. And he was like, what the heck? You know? And he's all talking in Spanish. And the devil gave, oh yeah, and he was hanging on a helicopter heading towards the water, just like on Burn Notice, right? And I think this was made in kind of the same time frame, maybe. So he gets a beeper, and in order to get a rebuttal, right, Mulligan, he has to type 666 on this beeper. He has to hit it 666, right? And so breaking and entering, the devil breaks into Allison's house, right? And we know people who's done that. You know, Donald Trump talking about people who stole the election, broke in there and got it or something. And, you know, that probably really happened after all this. You know, you can't help but think. So, and I noticed when they were digging through Allison's stuff, she has a tattoo on her lower back that says 666. So then they show it. She had the ink on her. And remember the dream I had of the blonde woman who was tall in her nice little rainbow colored uniform had the tattoo 666 on her big old forehead, right? And so at this point, I'm like, all the puzzle pieces are like together, and I'm like twitching, I'm glitching, you know? I'm like, dang. So, and then when she's reading through the journal, first thing she says is, last night a bunch of men came and brought me home and they all pile drive me. Like, can you think of a person that has been in my life where this is her lifestyle? I can. Can you? Mm-hmm. Right? So you see the people who are making these movies, the spirit is actually alive, and it's like resting in just a few people now. And we know who those people are, right? Don't be stupid. Red pill, blue pill, pick. So when she was reading through Allison's journal, there was a pressed rose in the middle of it. So when she opened up Allison's journal, she pulled out a rose flower. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the shotgun case, part 2, a rose, 12 dozen roses were in there. You have Dust Till Dawn, You have the woman in there, the light fixture falls down and straight melts her, right? Because George Clooney straight caps her, dude. The dude with the tribal tattoo, right? Because she was trying to make him his pet. One time I met a woman, the first thing she told me about is her pet lizard. You have the Terminator 1, Sarah Connor, pet lizard, Jetsons, Dyson, the babies. This is all part of their system because it's the same damn spirit that was in them 20 years ago that's in the same producers this year, right? And so when you see this, it just blows my mind, right? And so it was pressed with the rose in there. And on the second wish, he was on a beach with his woman. And he wanted to be sensitive because they read in her journal that she wanted to be sensitive. So obviously, they're reading Allison's mind too. Because if they can open the journal, my personal journal, that means they have the ability to know what's going on in her life. That's why they really said this woman likes to get pile drive by a bunch of men. Because that was in her secret journal, dude. This woman's freaking a freak, man. You know what I'm saying? And, that's why, yeah. So he's on the beach, and it shows these birds, dude. You guys remember when I was on Long Beach, and I was talking about these little birds that they'll run to the water, they'll be like dipping and eating, and all of a sudden their little feet will go. I was fascinated by it, and of course, in this movie, when I was on the beach, I was Mr. Sensitive Joe there, just like soaking in the moment, just like the damn movie, and the birds, the same little birds, they focalized on it, they zoomed in, and at that point I was like, what the heck? This is where I had to stop and go for a drive because it was overload. I was overloading, right? And so the devil shows up on the beach. Check this out. So the devil shows up, and then his three friends show up and steal his fucking girlfriend again, and yeah. So the devil shows up to the beach with 2 Doberman pinchers. And they're trying to bite Elliot. They're like, and he's like, whoa. And they're vicious. 2 dogs. She has 2 dogs on a chain, dude, trying to just straight demolish Elliot. You know what I'm saying? Remember the dream I had? 2 dogs at that gate trying to bite me. And then all of a sudden those 2 dogs turned into 2 poodles. And they're the same ones licking my feet. And they're like, all right, dude, we're cool now. You want to play fetch? I'm going to throw them a little bone. Go over there and get it. Right? And so you have this. That's a huge significance. The devil showed up, always in the background, the fine print. So with 2 dogs, sharp teeth, and then when the sunset was finally setting, he kept crying, and then Elliot's like, when is that sun finally going to set? And when I was at the beach, the devil sent people sitting on a chair, and they were gloating, watching the sunset like this. One guy was sitting in the water. Those were sent people, right? Those are called bots. Those are bots, dude. And so his 3 friends come up, and all of a sudden she goes from liking Elliot to like getting all wet for these 3 guys. And you can see it. She was just like, I've had a woman rise at the beach like that before. It's not a fun thing, dude. Like Elliot, you don't need this type of woman in your life. They're destructive. They're purely sexual, and they'll get the guy they think they want, and then when they see the next one, they'll drool over them too. So it's just this thing. They drool over all that stuff, right? And so it reminds me of the dream I had with my 3 friends. And and Allison this time. Do you know what she says? Because Elliot's like, what are you doing? You're going to go have a beer? And she's like, it'll only be 2 seconds. So now you had the devil who said, ladies, give us 2 seconds. And then you're on the beach and you have Allison who says, it'll just take 2 seconds. So you kind of wonder, is the devil and Allison, the fake Allison, the counterfeit, the same woman or person? I don't know. Maybe. Right? So she says, I'll be back in 2 seconds. So this movie is a tough one to decode because of my personal emotions, obviously. And all these puzzle pieces add up too well. That's why it affects me very well. Right? So the 3 friends in the dream. Now my mind's thinking about the bar incident, crazy stuff, when I break their necks and bite their jugular off. And so in John Wick chapter 4, Cain and his emotions for his loved ones. See, as I'm watching all this stuff, the plot lines of other movies are making sense now, right? The 3 friends, why Cain did what he did. And so now I'm like, oh my gosh, see what I'm saying? I'm connecting to this future. I'm going, I'm starting to gain is called empathy. You know, whenever you think like that, it's because you're empathizing to somebody else's road that's not yours. And you're trying to put yourself in their shoes. So you're like, oh, wow, dude, now I kind of see why you did that, you know, and stuff like that. So, you know, and then there's a dream too where he's a ball player, but he has a little pecker, you know, and I'm teased about this too. Like, Jezebel will throw 5.5 ads my way. I just don't get bothered by it no more. You know, what you see is what you get. If you don't like it, hit the road, biatch. You know, I don't need you in my life. I'm looking for 1, 2, but I'm happy with 0 also. So he's a ball player, and she's like, Allison's just all focused on that length, and she doesn't care about him. So the real Allison is genuine. The fake one, all she cares about is pecker and being pile drive. That's it, dude. The $100, give me $100 bill and you can train me kind of thing. Or it might be down to $20 now. I don't know. But, so you see this stuff right here, and after and then the woman, remember the video with Riva TV? Well, when Joe was playing ball, and, you know, and I knew who he was, you know, I was helping him. He was even working for my delivery company, right? And, but I didn't know he had mental issues and, you know, his financial problems. We all know about that. Like, now you can connect the spirit. That same spirit who was in the person who made this movie is now the one operating in the spirit who's having that lady talk about Joe. It's the same exact spirit, dude. That's why they call me Constantine, right? So, you know, they attacked his junk in the movie, which was on point as well. I got attacked like that. And at this point I said, I hope all you mean dogs who bit me are watching this now. I hope you're watching. And, you know, because we're getting this engine complete. The key is going to turn on. The engine will turn on. It has to. It's biblical. You know, and so, you know, and they also said New York, whenever Elliot came to New York, they painted him as gay, right? And, you know, I had gay thoughts growing up because of some shit, you know, my crazy, wicked, sexual ring family. And, but I don't anymore, you know, but I grew out of that stuff. But I'm not afraid to admit I did. I even tell gay people, like, or bi people, I've been there, I got out of it, so don't say you can't, you know. And so he shows up to this party, and this lady says, "Oh, Elliot, New York has been so dead without you. We're so happy to have you," right? So she says, New York has been dead without you, right? And so that's a huge line, too, in the movie, because that was the first entrance to the dream. And, you know, you have Times Square, the Statue of Liberty, which resembles Lucifer. You know, he's got the books in his one hand, books, because he's writing his own books. You know, the Queen and everybody, they're writing their own worldly books, and they're going to call them the books of heaven. And then you have God, who actually has the real books of heaven, right? And then you have the fire that he's holding in the right hand towards the sky, right? So they're writing books, you know? So I took a drive at this point, and he was painted as gay, and the game is crazy for sure, right? And, you know, it's all about money, 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 money. And one thing I do know is you end the movie in a high note. You know, he ends the movie grown up, finally not a pushover. He shows some spice, like, and then he grabs one of his friends, you know, because all of a sudden at the end, the 3 friends come up and they try to make fun of him again. And Elliot grabs that fool and he says, "Don't do that." And he pushed him off, and then the other friends were like, "Shit." And so they walk away, right? They get away from him, and they're like, "Okay, we won't make fun of you no more, dude. Our bad." And so he actually grew up. And then he's going home, and he sees this brunette version, this corny version of Allison. And she's like, "Hey, you're the boy next door. Can you help me move my stuff in my house?" And she was a perfect woman, dude. I gloated. I was smiling. And, you know, because she was like corny, fun, and just, there was no agenda, right? Agendas are freaking ugly, man. And there was no agenda. And then all of a sudden Ellie's tripping out because she looks like a twin of Allison. It's almost like Allison was transformed or something. Like all of her dog shit went away and she became this like perfect woman. And I'm like, what the hell? And he was like, what the hell? And then all of a sudden, you know, he goes in there. So he goes in there, and you know they're getting along, and the movie ends in a high note, right? Because the seventh wish, he just wished that Allison would have a happy life, right? He just wished her the best, and you know that's kind of cool. I was on that road too after all this. When I started heading back from California, and then I'm gonna end this video. I started praying for these women I was having dreams about, like Kim Kardashian. I'm going through the same thing as he did. Like, whenever you see a Kim Kardashian in your dream and then you're curled up next to her and you're kissing, it's seduction, right? You're never gonna have a dream about that of your future wife. You would never just curl up to your future wife. Like, yeah, I did it in a gentleman way, but she don't do anything in a gentleman way, or a gentle lady or whatever. So I just slammed the doors to all these windows, because you know, it's just ridiculous at this point. And yep, so this was a decoding of the movie Bedazzled, and I hope you all watch it for yourself, decode it yourself, because it's kind of fun. You can nerd out and trip out, for sure. And yeah, have fun doing it. And remember, this is a red pill speaker box, so if you don't like it, and if you're blue pill, turn the channel, you know, because red pill pukes by the blue pill theology, and blue pills puke by the red pill theology. So, but what's funny is, some reason the blue pills are obsessed with the red pill living and walking people. And so you blue pill people will stalk us and follow us, even though you say you hate it, right? And then it comes to reality. Let me share something for you. I hope you don't get offended. It's not because you hate me, or you hate Morpheus, or you hate Neo, or you hate these people. It's because you hate the fact that what we're saying makes sense and is true. And you're being faced with your moment of, do I want to live in Wonderland, or do I want to actually go down this hole and know what the world really truly is? Because once you do, your life will never be the same. And so you make a decision every day, and when you hear the red pill truth, but you choose to go, I'm gonna pretend like you just heard all my knowledge I shared with you, and then you have this mindset where you go, I'm gonna act like and pretend I didn't hear none of that. You can do that all you want, but it's not gonna work. That pretending is slowly gonna eat away inside in you, and it's gonna lift up this rage and anger. And eventually, you listening to a bunch of truth is going to affect your false reality and belief. That's why I always tell you all, turn the channel if you are a blue pill person and you live in the illusionist, smoke and mirrors world. Because I do that because I care about you, dude, or woman, or child, because you shouldn't listen to this, because there are consequences to every word we hear and every word we speak, especially in a polarized worldwide view. So that's why I always say, and I've always told you all, turn the channel if you're not ready for this truth, because the Lord's blessed me with knowledge to navigate through every one of these builders, architecture, and know it better than they do. And that's my job. I'm going to do my job, dude. Right? I love my job. It's fun. I love this stuff. So, I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll do another movie probably tonight, because I don't really have any friends, and this is what's fun, and stuff like that. So, enjoy the rest of your day.